Hi everybody, it's Stephanie. Thank you for clicking on my YouTube channel. Today is Tuesday, February 18th, 2020, and I'm out here on location in Las Vegas at Grant Philipo's Las Vegas Showgirl Museum with over 40,000 artifacts, many one of a kind. This is the largest, most diverse collection of beautifully restored actual show costumes and headdresses, gowns, and jewelry. Voted the coolest museum in Las Vegas. My guest today is the founder, CEO, and co-owner of this labor of love, Las Vegas Showgirl Museum, Grant Philipo. Did I say your name right?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Eventually.
All right, today we're going to concentrate on how your collection came about.
When I was very, very young, my sister and I, she was a year younger than me, we were probably about 10 years old, saw that my dad had thrown away all of my mother's, to us, precious rhinestone jewelry. We went and we dug it all out of the trash and put it into a cigar box, and we thought, we're going to bury this in the backyard, and it's going to end up so many years later being an incredible treasure. Next day we go to school, we come home and there's a cement truck out in front of our house. And we're like, what in the world's going on with that? So we go into the backyard, and here is my dad making this huge plot of cement right on top of where we had put our treasure. That was sort of the start of it, the disappointment of losing that. And then when I was around 15 years old, my great-grandmother, I loved more than anything. She was born in the year 1900, born in Iowa.
Which is where you're from.
Yes, and she was a perfume model, which a lot of people didn't even know there was such a thing.
It's interesting.
But they used to have to
smell me.
They had to sit in a bath of pure perfume.
Ooh, it doesn't smell.
And when they did that, it changed the chemicals in their body. Ooh. She never perspired in her entire life. Her skin was like silk and always ice cold. But when she was 15, in the year 1915, she was very scandalous. She later on ended up dating Clyde of Bonnie and Clyde. And she used to date those all-star wrestlers, you know, the crazy ones they used to have. But anyway, when she was 15 years old, she found a swimsuit that had no sleeves and very little leggings. And she wore it in Iowa, and everybody called her a slut. And she had read the book, The Scarlet Letter, and her name was Mabel, so she embroidered a red letter M on the front of it to basically say, screw you. And when I was 15, I don't know how she knew I would appreciate it, but she pulled it out of her closet one day and she handed it to me and told me the whole story. And people always want to know what's the oldest thing in your collection, and that's it. It's from 1915, it's over 100 years old. I have drugged that thing everywhere that I have lived, everywhere. That is truly what started the clothing costume aspect of the collection. I moved to San Diego and I would go to antique stores or go to a yard sale, go to all these different things, and I would see a costume piece. What's in that show at the Dunes? Or that was in that show there. What in the world is it doing, you know, in this place? And I had no idea what I'd ever do with it. But to me it was history, and it was beautiful history, and I love glamour, and so I would buy it. And I had no idea what I'd ever do with it. And of course, all these years later, it's a part of the collection. When I started producing shows in LA, then there was a need for me to have a lot more costumes. And although I was designing and building, it was a lot quicker to build bigger shows if you went and bought costumes that were already made. A lot of the designers in LA found out that they would have pieces they were going to throw away, and I'd beg them out of them. I'd say, can you please let me use them? They're like, what are you going to do with it? I'm like, just let me use them. And they would hand them to me for free, and I would restore them, and I would make them look brand new, and then they would come and see my shows, and they're like, I cannot believe that's what I was going to throw away. That is how it started to develop. And many years later, when I hooked up with Mary D. Mantle, she had a thing called credit cards, and she had big limits on them. That's when things got a little crazier. She and I own the collection together. She's been my business partner since 1991. She was the executive producer of our show at the Dunes. Some of the most valuable items in the collection, she is the one that came up with the credit or the money to purchase them, including the Lido jewels, which it's something I'm very proud of because it's only one time that the Lido jewels were ever sold legally.